What do you think confidence means? Volunteers get $100. No, I'm just kidding, but thank you. Yes. Be strong. Okay, what? Like physically strong? Is that part of it? Yeah, I think so. You know, if you get physically stronger, you're going to be confident, right? What do you got?
Like confidence is like trusting in yourself.
Yeah, that's an excellent explanation. Yes.
Confidence is believing in your own skill and what you're great at.
Yeah, that's pretty exact.
Confidence is like having the strength to do something that you might not want to do.
Yes, awesome. Okay, what about setting goals? Does anyone know what that means? What does it mean when you set a goal? Do you have any goals?
Yeah.
What? Tell me. What is it?
There's this math website I want to finish all the stones on it.
Okay.
So to set a goal meaning would be to set one point where you want to get eventually.
Yeah.
Slowly build towards it.
Excellent. And that's what we're going to focus on today. Who has questions? Any questions? I have to ask you guys questions? I'm going to have to make them really hard then. All right, what's 17,000 times 535? All right, see? Do you guys have any questions? Otherwise, I'm going to have to think of questions.
535. Do it. Wait, 17,000 times 535.
Yep.
530 times 17,000.
Well, I don't know. I don't know the right answer. I was hoping you guys knew. I can't do that kind of math in my head.
What?
What do you got? What's the answer?
I'm not done yet. I'm done. 0, 0, 5 times 17, 17. I think you're right. 17,000 times
5.
900. What? Oh, 9?
Right around a million?
What was the question? What was the question? 9,435,000.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I think 535 times 17. I just thought of the first number I could think of that I thought would be hard.
901.
Oh, wow, that's a lot. So is less than a million?
I messed up. 17,000 times 535. Around in the 9.
All right, let me ask you easier questions.
No, 9,275,000. Yeah, I'm not even that sure.
Oh, so I guess that was a tough one. All right, let me ask you. I'll ask you guys the easier question. All right. Anyone want to guess where I grew up? Let's take a guess. That way, I'll ask you questions, and at the same time, you get to know me a little.
Like state or like city?
No, I don't want to just expose my age or anything. Where do you think I grew up? In the world, yeah, that's good. All right, so now we're here. I grew up in the world, right? What part of the world? No, but I've been here like 10 years.
Yeah, I know that. Probably, I think Canada?
No, this guy, he came from Canada, though. Yes. No, not Nevada. It's further east, all the way east. Yes. Yes. All right, we're over that one. That one's not important. This is more important. So I grew up in New York, and I've been in California for like 10 years. Did anyone else grow up not in California, or everyone here grew up in California?
Like where you were born?
Yeah, where were you guys all born here?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Arizona.
Arizona? All right.
No, I was born in here, but I grew up in India.
Okay. Oh, wow, you've been around. Nice. Oh, wow. Did you like Florida? Hot, yeah. Humid. Where'd you grow up? You grew up in Mountain House? All right. No? Yeah, all right. Well, you guys are still kind of growing up, so you got time. Are we good, Paulo? You want to start?
I got the answer.
Yeah, I think we can get started, but if you use mic, it will be better actually.
Okay, yeah, let's test it out.
I got the answer.
Check. Mic check. 1, 2, check. Who wants to test it out?
Me.
All right, here. The first, say something. Say something. Let's test it. All right, okay. I think it works. I think it works. All right, does everyone here agree that I think the mic works? Yeah. All right, good. I'm glad that we agree. All right, so let's start with who am I? My name is Ricky Carilli. So what do I do? Why am I doing this right now? So what I do is I work with kids all over the country, all the way in New York, in Florida, some of the places you guys named, in California, and I teach them a whole bunch of stuff. All the important things that you're not going to learn in school. That's what I teach them. Some of those things are building confidence and goal setting, and that's what we're going to do today. So in the future, if everyone has a good time, maybe I'll come back and I'll teach you some more important things. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Are you guys sure? It doesn't sound like you're sure. You guys sure?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. We need some energy. We need good, positive energy every day, all day. Okay, so why should you listen to me? Well, one, because your parents are probably telling you to listen to me, right? All right, but the more important reason, because one of the most important things you guys need to know is you want to follow the direction of people who are already further ahead of you. That's what I do. That's what I encourage you guys to do, right? You could listen to your friends a little bit, but your friends probably don't know much more than you know, right? So if you want to learn something, who are you going to listen to? Yeah, maybe not all adults, but the ones that you think are smart, the ones that are doing the right thing and leading by example. So that's what I try to do. So you guys let me know at the end. You're like, oh, if I learned anything or I didn't learn anything, I'll ask you if you think you learned anything. And if you didn't, you don't have to say that. All right? I'm just kidding. Okay, so what's the mission of today? So every day we wake up, we want to have a plan of what we want to do. So our plan today is to teach you guys how to feel unstoppable and gain confidence and set goals that actually work. Because a lot of people set goals, but not everyone achieves those goals, right? All right, so we're going to learn a little bit about what the difference is, why some people do and some people don't. All right, let's get it started. So, what is confidence? I asked you guys, and all the answers I heard are pretty close. What I have is confidence means believing in yourself, even when things feel hard. Now, how do you think you get confidence? Any volunteers? How do you think you build confidence? You're not just born with it, right? How do you gain confidence? Yes.
By doing something you don't want to do.
Yes, yeah, that's a good answer.
Do small successes.
Yes.
Getting outside of your comfort zone.
What?
Getting outside of your comfort zone.
Yes, exactly.
By not caring what others think you and just doing what you want.
Yeah, these are all excellent answers. So what I would define it as is like a scale, right? So you probably have some thoughts in your head that like, I'm not very good at this. This math is super hard. I'm not good at math, or I'm not good at science, right? So that's called self-doubt. Now, when you have a lot of self-doubt and you always think like, I'm not going to be good at this, or maybe it's a sport, basketball, or whatever you want to play. When you first start, you're probably not that good, right? Let's think of something as, what I have here, as easy as, tying your shoes. At some point, you guys didn't know how to do that, right? I didn't. I wasn't just born knowing how to tie my shoes. And the first time you did it, you're probably like, oh, I don't know how to do this. This is hard. Mom, Dad, can you just do this for me? But then they encourage you to try again, right? And try again. And now what? Now you just do it and you don't think about it. Some of you probably leave your shoes tied for what? Like 3 weeks, a month at a time? Like me, I try not to untie them so I don't have to retie them. But at some point you had to learn that, right? And it was difficult. So building confidence, the more confidence you build, the less self-doubt you're going to have. So how I would define confidence is doing the difficult things that not everyone wants to do. Anyone could do easy things or what they have to do. If everyone just did what they have to do, the world would be a pretty miserable place. And you guys probably wouldn't have food because I'm sure your parents don't want to go to work every day either. So you're going to have to do these difficult things that a lot of people probably don't want to do. And a lot of the time that includes doing things that no one even expects you to do. You just do these things because you know it's going to better you. Maybe you study extra for a test. Maybe you guys, what do you guys do here? You learn language, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you don't have to do that, right? But why do you want to do that? You want to be able to speak the language of your family, no? Okay, so you want to set your own goals to build confidence, and that's what we'll get into. Also, before I forget that, you want to change your mindset. Does anyone know what mindset means? Yes, tell me.
Like how you think about things. Like if you say I can't do it, you'll probably never be able to do it.
Exactly. So there's a quote that says, the person who believes that they can and the person who believes that they can't are both right. Do you know what that means? So you have to believe that you can do something before you can do it. And if you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else? Does that make sense? Right? And then, so how do you believe in yourself? Of course, at first, when you can't do something, your thought is, oh, I'm not good at it. I can't do this. But then you do it, right? And you're like, okay, I'm not the best at it yet. But then you do it again. And you do it again. And you do it again. And you do it again. At some point, now you're like, I'm actually pretty good at this. Well, how did that happen? Practice. Right? And that's one of the things here. So it starts with your mindset. Don't tell yourself that I can't. Anytime you hear yourself saying, I can't, stop. Get rid of that. Because you can. You guys are all capable of doing anything that anyone else in the world can do. You know what the difference is? Those people, they believe that they can do it. No matter how many times they fail, they keep going. Okay, so we'll talk about all that. But it starts in your mindset. Never say, I can't do anything. You can start with, I'm not that good at this yet. But if I practice every day, I can be better. Does it make sense? All right. So how to build confidence. First is try new things. So if you just go through your life and you just do the same things every day, you're not going to get the experience. And one, you might be missing out on something that ends up being your favorite thing ever. Let's say food, for instance. Like before I ever had like sushi, I didn't know that I like sushi. I didn't know that, it was good, but I didn't try it up to that point. And maybe I don't. Maybe you try something and you don't like it, but the only way you're going to find out what you really want to do and what you enjoy is by trying a whole bunch of new things. Maybe more than once, because the first time it's like, oh, I'm not that good, but you keep trying. So number one is try new things. Two is keep practicing. So we mentioned that, right? You mentioned that. Practice, right? You ever heard practice makes perfect? Well, maybe you don't end up being perfect, but the more you practice, the better you're going to be, right? Okay, so that's why that's important. What's your favorite sport? Basketball. You guys know basketball? You know a guy, Kobe Bryant or LeBron James? You think when those guys first started picking up a basketball, you think they were good?
No.
They were probably better than I was, but they weren't good. So how do they do that? You know how long Kobe Bryant would practice every day? Like 4 hours. You guys know Steph Curry?
Yeah.
Right? You know how many shots he shoots every single day? 500. 500 shots. Now you guys see him as, well, the best three-point shooter in history, right? But what we don't see is 15 years of shooting 500 shots a day. Who wants to do the math on that? That's a little easier. How do we figure that out? 500 every single day for 15 years.
Yeah, 7,500. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's going to be more than that.
Wait, what? 75.
How many days are in a year? So we have to do 15 years times 365 times 500. 365 times 15 years times 500.
Okay, so 365 times 5. Yes.
I don't know what the answer is going to be. I just know it's a lot. It's a lot.
Wait.
There's over 1 million. It's got to be. It's got to be up there at least.
1825. No, that's only for 1 year. Oh yeah, so now.
Now just times that by 15. 2,737,000. Okay. Yeah. So it's over like 2.5 million shots. Well, of course that makes now. All right. So let's just say what it's a couple million. Right. It's a lot. Now it makes sense that he's the best, right? I don't think anybody alive has ever practiced that much. All right, but even if you're not trying to be the best of all time, if you want to be good at something, you have to practice a lot. Okay, I think that's the conclusive answer. 2.7 million. We'll round it to. That's a lot. Your arms would probably fall off if you tried to do that straight through. But that's what I'm saying. So maybe you don't do something 2 million times, 3 million times, but maybe you try 100 times. You think you're going to be a lot better than when you started? Okay, so that's what I'm getting at. Practice, you're going to be as perfect as you possibly can. Now, next thing is you want to talk to yourself like a coach, not a critic. Meaning you don't want to tell yourself, I can't do this. I'm not good at this. You want to say encouraging things like, I got this. I can do this. I'm going to put in more effort and more work, and I'm going to make this happen. That's the mindset we need to have. So, okay, God forbid you fail a test. What are you going to do? Yeah, your parents are going to be upset. You're going to be upset, but your life isn't over. Right? Now, your option is you can cry and curl up in a ball in the corner, or you study harder next time and you do better next time. You don't want to dwell on not being perfect the first time. You just look what you did wrong, make adjustments, and go forward. Okay, that's important. Don't focus on your failure. It's part of it. You're never going to be successful if you don't fail. No one is perfect all the time, so don't dwell on that. So that's the next one right there. Turn your mistakes into lessons. Failing means learning. Okay, so you're going to go through your life and you're going to have experiences and you're not going to do the best that you wanted to do. It happens to everyone. I know that might shatter some of your realities, but it's not always going to happen. It's okay. All right? It still means you're doing good. You're still a good person. You're still good at what you do. What ultimately is going to matter is that you keep trying. Those are the people who end up being very successful. Who knows what successful means? Yes, give me a shot.
End up actually being good at things for a purpose.
Yes, that's an excellent definition. Accomplish, okay, yes.
Achieving your goal.
Yes, these are great. Yes. What do you got? Achieving your goal? So what I would define success as, like a lot of people think, oh, it's having a lot of money, right? Or having a fancy house or fancy car. What I would say success is progressively moving forward towards something you're passionate about doing. Maybe some of you want to be a teacher. Well, you're not going to make a ton of money doing that, but some of you want to be a lawyer. It doesn't matter what you want to be. As long as you're making progress to be who you want to become and you're passionate about being that person, that's successful. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So whatever you decide you want to do when you guys get older, as long as you're moving in that direction every single day and you're not letting, your small obstacles and failures get in the way of that, you guys are successful. All right. Last, surround yourself with other people who encourage you. You ever hear the phrase of one bad apple spoils the whole bunch?
Yes.
Do you guys know what that means?
No.
So you could be negatively influenced. Let's say you hang out with your friends and they're not doing the right thing, or they're not nice, or they're bullying kids at school, right? And the more you hang out with these people who aren't doing the right thing, who aren't encouraging you, who are always negative, the more likely you guys are going to end up like that. So it's important to find people, like I think for you guys to be here together you all have a pretty similar mindset of positivity, and that's good. So as you grow older, you want to spend time with the people who think like you, who are positive people, who overcome failure and do these difficult things and encourage each other, because you're going to go through tough times in your life and you need people, your family will be there, but it's good to have friends too that tell you, hey, I know you're going through a hard time, but I'm here for you, or I believe in you. All right, let's go next. Oh, let's go back real quick. We're going to do a quick exercise. So here's a confidence challenge. I want you guys to list 3 things you've accomplished that you once thought were difficult. You think you could do that? All right, let's make it just one thing, and then I'll call on people, and you have 1 minute. Yes.
In my school, I did like this vision board, like where you had to put like these like your goals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we had to like do a presentation in front of everyone.
Nice. And that's called visualization, and that's very important too. The more you can visualize what you want in your life and really feel like you already have that, that's sending that energy out for you to receive that.
I think that I thought it was difficult and I achieved it to get
And did you do it?
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
One thing I found that was like really difficult for me was tidying my room often, and like I solved that by making my room a place where I actually study, and I can't study without it being clean.
That's
So I have a
excellent.
good environment.
Well, while you're talking about that, that's excellent. Bhakti, flag football, and you think you're pretty good now? All right, because you have training from Little Beast, so you're stronger and faster than other kids? All right, good. So about that, your environment makes a difference, okay? It makes a difference to the energy that you have. So like she's saying, what was your name? Nishka. So like Nishka's saying, she realized that it was important for her to keep her room clean because she's trying to study and be focused. Now, if I'm in a room, like where I do work in my office, right? If there's stuff all over and it's all cluttered, do you know what my brain operates like? Stuff all over and clutter. So I know when your parents are telling you, hey, clean your room, clean your room, clean your room, you're like, okay, yeah, mom, yeah, dad, I'll clean my room. It's important because what you have around you has an effect on you, the environment that you're in. So it's important to like keep things clean and organized, right? Because it's going to affect you. And then she's saying she has now her room is a place where she does focused work, is what I would call it. Now, maybe you play video games or you do something else, right? That's in the living room or a game room if you have it. But wherever you do your homework, right, you want to have an area where you're focused. Does that make sense? Because you don't want your brain going all over the place. All right, that's a great point. Okay, who has one thing? I'm going to call. I didn't see. Some of you guys didn't write anything down. Am I stumping you with this first question already? You guys can answer crazy math questions, but you can't figure this one out? Name one thing that you accomplished that at first seemed difficult. Before I gave you the example of tying your shoes, right? But you guys have a lot more examples. Yes. What was it? A cartwheel? Yeah. Oh yeah. I could do beginner ones, not at first though. You want me to show you one? No. All right, good, because I don't know. It's been a while. Yes. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you. Oh wow, that's tough. And now you guys can do all these things? How did that happen? Practice, right? Oh wow, that's good. And how's that going? It's going good? Not as bad as you thought? That's good.
Getting superintendent's honor roll and principal's honor roll.
Oh, are you bragging right now? No, I'm just kidding. Good. Yeah, that's awesome. And what now are you going to be on that? You're going to be on that forever, right? What? So you set the standard high or what?
No, it's like you get an award, like if you get like 2 A's and all of them have to be like
nice.
Or above.
So that was something you thought was going to be hard and now you achieved that? Awesome. Are you going to do that again? There we go. It's okay. It's okay to humbly brag.
I like thought it was really hard to like get successful in Olympiad, and then like in third grade I got 3 medals.
Wow. These are some really, really good accomplishments. Yes. Good. That's awesome.
Since everyone here is bragging right now, I'd like to add on.
Yeah, do it. Please. This is your chance.
I'm like really athletic, so for me, setting was really hard in volleyball, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
and then dribbling was really hard in soccer because my foot didn't go my foot, and then my defense in basketball was like weak, but now it's like the strongest on the team.
Wow. That's awesome. See, so you know what all these things have in common? You thought about these things and you're like, I want to be better at this, or I want this goal. And then you practice and you put effort into it. And there was days you're like, I don't want to do this. And you did it anyway. Right? So that is what you need to carry over in everything in your life, and you'll be unstoppable. Yes, one more. Last one.
I thought like finals week in December that my schools, I thought it would be really difficult to like get A's on all of them, but I did get A's on all my finals.
Awesome. That's great. All right. Let's see what's next. So that's confidence and goal setting are kind of tied together. That's why we're learning about both of them. So I already asked you guys, what you think of a goal. This is what I think a goal is. A goal is like a treasure map. You guys know what a treasure map is? Do you ever see one in real life?
Yeah.
I haven't either. I'm not sure if they're real, but maybe at one time when there was like pirates and stuff. But a treasure map, yes.
When I was a kid, I used to draw. Well, yeah, I used
Yeah.
to like what they clues
Yep.
like, around the place, and then there's like a prize at
Yep. And so the point is like it leads you to something you really want, right? You want to find that treasure. But it's never just like go from here to there, right? It's like go here and then go here and then go here and then go here. And that's what happens with your goals. It's not always going to be straight through. You go here and you go here and you go here and things pop up and there's obstacles and challenges in the way. And then you got to overcome them because you got to get the treasure, right? All right, well, that's exactly what setting a goal is like. Now, there's 2 different types of goals. You guys kind of mentioned this too. There is long-term goals and short-term goals. So I'll give you an example. Some of you probably want to be like doctors or lawyers, right? So you know that that's going to take many years of going to school and having good grades, right? And doing other things really well and studying hard. Now, maybe that takes, if you're in elementary school, I would say at least 10 years to do that, right? What is going to be, that is your long-term goal. But now, a lot of the time, if we think about our long-term goal all the time, it's kind of scary because it's so far away and there's so much that you have to do before that. So one of the things you need to do when you have your long-term goal is figure out a whole bunch of other short-term goals. So one thing would be, well, I have to graduate elementary school. And the next thing is I have to graduate high school and graduate college. And then I have to go get a doctorate if you want to be a doctor, right? And then within those short-term goals, there's even smaller goals. So the best way to do this is to take your big goal and break it down into smaller goals. And then those smaller goals, you break into even smaller goals. And then that way you get to check these little things off when you do that. And like, this is what I just finished. Okay, my next thing is this. My next thing is this. And then you gain momentum. You guys know what momentum is? Right? Like if I'm running really fast, it's going to take me a little while to stop, right? But it takes me a few seconds to run to my fastest. So that's momentum, where you're not going to have top speed right away. You got to pick up your speed with momentum. So that's what you want to do. So the more you check off these little things here and here and here and here and here, then you build momentum, and that gives you more confidence towards achieving your long-term goal. This rug's trying to take me out. Okay. So now I'm going to ask you guys, what's one thing you really want to achieve? So who has something on their mind right now that they really want to achieve? Yes.
I really want to be like a good basketball
A good basketball player. That's. Oh, you want to be like Kobe Bryant? Okay.
Double backflip.
Okay. Yes.
Same thing as him. Like I want to be like one of the like a really good basketball player.
Okay. So what are you guys doing normally to be a really good basketball player? You practice?
We both got into the school team like a few months ago.
Okay, good. So your long-term goal would be maybe go to the NBA, right? So then what's a step below that? The NCAA? And then what's a step below that? High school? Yep. So it's NBA, NCAA, college, high school, and before that is, maybe the team you're on now, right? Yes. Doing splits. Okay. Do you do gymnastics? Do you just like doing this stuff?
Yeah.
All right, that's good. See, we need positive hobbies too, things that you enjoy doing that you have fun doing. Bhakti, being a good football player. What? How quick?
2 to 4.
2 to 4. That's like Sonic the Hedgehog. That's good though. People have ran 4-minute miles, so it's possible to do that. 2 minutes? I don't know. That's a little too fast. Winning a math competition. That's good. You think you could do that? That's good. Is it going to be hard? Okay, that's good. That means it's a good goal, and we'll talk about it's called the SMART goal right after this.
In the short term, I want to go to DC.
Wow, that's great. Last one.
I want to go to the business school.
Okay, good. Yes?
Yeah, I want to learn how to ride bike. I don't know how to ride bike, and I always like every summer I'm like, this year I will learn, but somehow I'm not getting it. But one day I know that I will learn how to ride a bike by myself.
Well, what would happen if you started riding this bike and you fell down? What would you do?
I just scared that I will get hurt,
Mhm.
and then I'm like I don't want to do it. Then I won't be able to walk or something. So that restricts me, and then. But every summer I'm like, no, I will try, and next year I will be better.
Yep. So something like you can use, pads, knee pads, definitely a helmet. Always have a helmet on when you're on a bike. Okay, that's one thing I'm very serious about. Make sure you wear a helmet if you're going to do anything like that. So it's not just your parents saying that. Trust me, I know a lot of people who got hurt. So make sure you wear a helmet. Okay, so yep, we already did that. So we'll go to the next one. Okay, so has anyone ever heard of SMART goals? Some of you probably have, depending on your age. Okay, I'm just going to explain this to you. So a SMART goal, well, it's a goal that's smart. You can have goals that aren't that smart, but this is what it stands for. Specific, meaning you want to define your goal as much as possible in the simplest terms. As specific as you can be in the simplest terms. So that involves who is involved, what do I want to accomplish, where will it be done, why am I doing this, the reasons and your purpose, and which things might pop up that are going to be difficult to overcome. The next thing is going to be measurable. Now, how do you figure that out? How can you track your progress and measure the outcome? So how much, how many, how will I know when my goal is achieved? So if your goal is to, let's say, have the top grade in math, or let's say win the math competition, right? How are you going to track whether or not you're going to achieve that?
Keep practicing math for at least an hour every day.
Yeah, well, that's good. So you would set yourself up with eventually the last one there, which we'll get into. So in something like that, like a competition or something that you're going to have an outcome, that's going to let you know whether whether or not you did that. So attainable means, does everyone know what attainable means? Like you're able to achieve that, achievable. So when you have a goal, you want your goal to push you a little bit where it's not super easy for you to do, but you also don't want to have a goal that's, maybe like a 2-minute mile. 2-minute mile is we have to do what's known as relevant or realistic. So 4-minute, that's possible. You know, people have done that. That's a possibility. Very few people, but it is possible. And that's something that's going to push you a little bit further and make it a challenge for you. Yes. Wow. Wow, he's probably a track star, huh? Or gonna be. You think you could get his autograph before he gets famous for me?
My friend named one, he got a 202 in his paces.
Well,
202. Wait,
I got one too.
no, bro.
Later.
202.
that's I don't know what that is, but it sounds like you guys are impressed. So I'm impressed.
Run back and forth. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and every time like the goal gets faster, so you have to run to the other side like in less amount of time.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty fast. Okay, so relevant. And then the last one is timely. All right, the last one is timely, meaning when you set up a goal, you want to say, you don't want to just put a goal on your board. Maybe you have a board like this, like I do at my house, and I write down my goals on here, what I want. But if I just say, okay, I want to do this, but I don't set a deadline for it, if I don't put something in my calendar, like, hey, I'm going to do this by this day, how often do you think that it actually happens? I'm going to say like 50%. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But when I put something in my calendar and I say, I'm definitely going to do this on this day at this time, or I'm going to work on studying, you know, for my Math Olympian competition 1 hour every day. Okay. But are you putting it on your actual schedule? You know, what you have to do every day. So that's why having a deadline is important. And that's called timely. So for you to have a SMART goal, it needs to fulfill all of these 5 things. So now what I want you guys to do is create a SMART goal for yourself. All right, so whatever your goal is, you have a general goal. Now I want you to create a SMART goal, and I'm going to leave the cheat sheet up here for you guys to figure that out. You think we could handle that? I heard you guys are smart. I'm going to leave this up here for instructions. So you have your goal. I want you to think about it like this. Very specifically write your goal down. Okay? I want it to be measurable. How are you going to tell me how you're going to measure your goal? Is your goal really attainable? Do you think it's realistic if you worked really hard? And by when? What time do you think you're going to do that by? How long is that going to take? Take a minute and do that. You guys let me know when you're done. Whoa. Blocking the cheat sheet here.
Parents, if anyone needs paper, we need paper.
Good?
Oh, you need, yeah. There you go. There you go. Hold it.
Wait, so like back and forward? What PC are you talking about?
You good? Got it? Yeah, what's up? Good? Cool. That's excellent. You want to say that louder? You want the mic?
Please, come on.
Come on. Here, I'll give you the mic. I'll give you the mic. Here. Let's hear it. Let everyone hear that.
My SMART goal is to earn $480
by July 2025 to build a PC and record the earnings and its
That's excellent. Very good. So do you hear how he did that? Where, well, his goal before when he mentioned it was, well, he wants to build a PC and he wants to become a mechanical engineer, right? So now his goal was, well, if he wants to build a PC, he needs to get some money for the parts. So he named very specifically how much money he needs to get the parts that he's already probably looking into buying. Then he has a date on there that says, well, what day does he need that by? And then he continues. So that's how I want. Any other volunteers? Now that you heard a really good one, let me hear it. Don't be intimidated. Yes, let me hear it. What do you got? Don't worry, there's no wrong answer. Oh, that's pretty good too. Doing a proper handstand before Christmas. So how are you going to figure out if you're on track to achieve that? Okay, that's good. And then it's also good to have someone help hold you accountable. Yes. Okay. Yes. Oh, that's a good goal. So you got a long ways to go, right? I have a feeling that if you start trying right now, you could probably do it before you're 25. So don't, you could strive to do it a little quicker. Trust me, I know you could do that. Yes, last one. Wildcats.
I want to be a topper in school, be better at soccer, and I kind of want to be like my dad, who's a software engineer.
Okay. Now, do you have a date when you want to do those things by?
By the age of 14.
And how old are you? You're 10, so you got some time. Okay, yes. Last one.
I wanted to start a dance class with my mom, and I went to a basketball class. I would do this at my house with my mom, and this would be during the summer, start and end. And how I would do it is I would first contact a bunch of Indian moms that my mom has contact with. I would summon all the children and tell them to choose either one. Summon. During that, I would probably get some amount of money, and then the reason I'm doing this is I just want to have enough money to spend on my friends and my family.
That's excellent. See, it's super specific. She thought about why she wants to do that. Okay, last one.
I want to be to a big president, but I
That's great. Yep, that's great. Last one.
So we have a goal actually. I say we because it's combined with a couple of more folks specifically. So we want this language, what we're teaching, it will be in the high school as a external language by year 2027.
Okay.
So the specific goal is to get the language in high school. The measurable is by year 2027, and then the attainable. We are trying for the best of people will attain it. Relevance. This is very relevant to what we are doing actually.
Yeah.
Every Saturday we are practicing that.
Yeah, that's great.
Is the 2-year time span.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. That's a great example. All right, good. So that means you guys have to study hard, and you guys have to show everyone else that, hey, what we're doing here, what you guys do here every week that I'm not here is getting results. That way it looks good when they go present this to the high school, like, hey, they're actually learning. This is important. Kids come here and they learn, what we think is important, and we think other kids want to learn this too, and their parents are going to be interested too. So you guys, no pressure, but make sure you do well. All right, let's go. Let's push to the next one here. So how you actually achieve your goal. There's a reason why I made you write this down. Well, one, to make sure you guys are still staying awake. But two, because when you write down your goals, it's a lot more powerful than when you just think about it. Okay? Because in your brain, you have 100 things floating around, 1,000 things floating around. But when you take it from here with all these other things going in your brain and you put it down on paper, or you make a vision board, or you write it down on a board like this, now that thing is pulled out of all the scattered thoughts you have in your brain. and it's put down for you to look at every day and for you to actually make progress on achieving. So if you want, you could take notes. You guys could take notes. This is more critically thinking, though. I want you guys to think. But yeah, you can definitely take these notes down. So write it down, okay? Here's the thing about writing stuff down. I write down everything. And sometimes I don't use it. But at least I wrote it down, and then I look at it later. I'm like, now that I'm thinking about it again, that's not as important as me focusing on this. But the only way I can compare these things is if I wrote all these things down that I thought about doing, that I wanted, right? And I write these things down, and then I look at them like, okay, that's actually not that important. Let me hold off on that. But this is a very much a priority for me, so I want to focus on that. But if it lives in here, I'll never get clarity on that. So that's why I write things down. And if you don't need it, no worries. You cross it out. You move on. But take it from here, put it on paper, or put it on a document, or on a board somewhere. Just take it out of these scattered thoughts and make it into reality. So also break it into tiny steps. Small wins lead to big success. Meaning, like I told you, you have your long-term goals, and then you have your short-term goals. And then you can break down those short-term goals into even smaller goals. And that way, you build what? What was the word I used before? What do you build when you do little things? You build. I gave you the example of yes, momentum, right? So when you constantly do these little things, like maybe you wake up in the morning and it's easy things, right? But you have a thought in your head that comes in, you're like, I don't have to make my bed. Like, should I make my bed? And then the first thing you do in the morning, okay, you make your bed, right? And then the next thing that comes, okay, well, I have to brush my teeth. Oh, I don't really feel like brushing my teeth. You brush your teeth, right? That's two things. And then you go downstairs and you get downstairs and there's, a wrapper on the ground. And you're like, my mom will pick that up. I don't need to pick that up. But then you think, you're like, you know what? I might as well just do that. And then you do that. So now you just get in the habit. You build momentum of doing these little things that maybe other people aren't going to even notice. But you notice that. You guys know what that's called? When you do things the right thing when nobody's looking. You know what that word is called? Integrity. Yes. Integrity. So it doesn't matter. I used to think like, oh, well, if no one could see, it doesn't matter. If my parents can't see, then whatever I do doesn't matter. But you know what kind of person you are when no one's looking. That's super important. Now you want the person you want to be to match up who you are by yourself and who you are in front of other people. And that's called integrity. You want to stand for what you believe in, your morals, no matter what, no matter who's looking. All right. And part of that is not being influenced negatively by other people around you. All right. Next, make it a habit. Like I said, like practicing at basketball every day, that's a habit, because you want to be better at it. So you just practice every day, and now it becomes a habit. There's good habits and bad habits. So we want to focus on good habits, because just as your good habits lead you up, if you have bad habits, which way are you going to go? Down, right? So we want to have good habits that bring us up, not bad habits like constantly procrastinating on your homework or studying for tests. Don't worry, I'm not looking at anybody specifically. You don't want to have all these bad habits and you go, whoo, that's an explosion. All right, so next is tell someone your goal, right? This is accountability. So when it's just yourself, sometimes we kind of give ourselves some slack, like, oh, all right, I'll give you an example for myself, like going to the gym. Maybe sometimes, I go, sometimes I don't go. But if I have a gym partner to go with, someone else who is like, no, I want to go, let's go together. That's called accountability. You have someone that in the days where you kind of feel like, oh, I don't want to do this, the odds are that like both of you guys aren't going to feel the same way that day. So that other person is there to bring you up and motivate you. So it's good to have someone that can hold you accountable. That's what that's called. Now, maybe your friend has a bad day and they don't feel like going, but you tell them like, no, we're not going to be lazy today. we said we're going to do this, we're going to do this. That's called accountability. So it's good to find someone else who you trust that can hold you accountable to do these things that are going to make you better. Okay, last thing is celebrate progress. So what that means is I don't want you to just think, okay, my goal is to be a doctor or a lawyer, and I'm not going to be happy until I achieve that. Part of it, to keep you going, to keep you motivated, I want you to focus on celebrating the small wins that you have. So we mentioned our long-term goal, maybe it's to be a doctor, right, or be in the NBA. But all these other short-term goals that we broke down into even smaller things, I want you to celebrate those things. And yeah, we're not going to have a pizza party every time you do one of those little things, but you should feel proud of yourself. You should feel good. Just for when you have your list of things, I feel good like when I get to cross something off that list, because I'm like, okay, one less thing I have to do. I'm one step closer to this goal that might be 100 steps. So don't just feel like, oh, it's not going to be good enough until I get there. So yes, have ambition to achieve your long-term goal, but don't forget all the progress that you're making on the way there. It's called celebrating the journey, because in the process of getting to that end result, you are becoming the person who is worthy of achieving that goal, and that's worth celebrating. Okay, what is that number right there? So what that's like what, 1/3 of 100%?
It's like
Close, right? All right, yeah, that's pretty close, right? So there's a study by psychologists that revealed people who wrote down their goals were 33% more successful in achieving them than people who weren't. Remember I told you how important it is to write this stuff down? That's why. I didn't make the rules. I'm just telling you what I know, and I didn't invent it. So make sure you write this stuff down, because 33%, that's a lot. That's your 1/3, basically 1/3 more likely to achieve your goals if you write it down. Yes.
No, never mind.
But you're writing stuff down, though. That's good. So you're on the way. You write whatever you want, buddy. Anything you want. Hey, what did I tell you before? Write down as much as you want. You could sometimes you look at it and you're like, oh, I need this. Sometimes you don't. But at least you wrote it down. It didn't just go in and out of your brain. Write everything down. Anything you think you might want to write it down. So goal setting helps increase responsibility. It creates that can-do winner's attitude. That's what you want. You want a winning attitude, a positive mindset, and it boosts your self-esteem and confidence. Got it?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so parents here. So here's how you can help. So we want to encourage effort, not just results. Like I was saying, we don't always want to pride it on, oh, they got an A in school, great. They got an A, yes. But more on the side of they studied really hard. I know they did their best. So always praise effort over just results. So confidence for you guys comes from trying, not just from winning. All right? So I'll tell you something. People who, what the Super Bowl is?
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people who win the Super Bowl, that's all they ever wanted to do in their whole life. But when they win the Super Bowl, it's very short-lived feeling of accomplishment. And a lot of them will say like, okay, I worked my whole life to get this. And now it was like, okay, this is cool. And now what? That's why it's important to celebrate the person you are becoming in the process of achieving that goal, because that's what you're ultimately going to end up with. Maybe you have a trophy. Okay, so what? You have a trophy. But it's becoming that person who achieves that is what should be celebrated. So also be a role model. Parents, show your kids how you set goals. One of the things I want you guys to do is this take-home challenge. Set a goal together as a family. Balu mentioned the goal that you guys have as a school, as an organization. So now you take this home and you set goals as a family. Let's say, Okay, if I do really good in school, my parents work really hard at work, maybe we take a vacation. Okay, well, where do we want to go? When do we want to go there? All right, so you guys work together. Help track progress, however that is, whether it is on a board or, it's just discussed, but we want to be, keeping track of what kind of progress we're making with these goals. Also, remind them that failure equals learning. The biggest, most successful people in the world have failed not once, not twice, not 3 times, probably 50 times, 100 times, in all different things. Do you know what is the one thing that separates those people who are super, super successful that you see and they're famous and they have all these things and all these famous companies? What is the one thing that separates them from other people who just give up? Keep trying. Yes?
They have self-confidence and a positive mindset.
Yes, both of those. Yep.
Like, they're more.
Yes.
They have failed at least once in their life. They have failed in the past.
Yes. Faith. Yes. You want to have faith that something stronger than you, with more power than you, is guiding you to what you deserve. What you feel like you're actually making progress towards. Yes.
Like, they're able to manage their emotions and, like, not.
Yeah, emotional control is great. Self-control, discipline,
And they feel instead of, like, just
giving up.
giving up, they don't.
Yep. So all these things could be summed up one word. That word, anyone take a guess at this word? It starts with an R. It's R-E. Resilience. And that's what resilience means. You fall like riding a bike. Maybe you fall off the bike the first time. Maybe you scratch your elbow and you scrape your knee too. Now, if you stay down, you're never going to learn to ride. But once that heals up and you try again and maybe you fall again, maybe break an arm. What happens though? Once it heals, if you never try again, are you ever going to learn? All right, so resilience. You have to be resilient. All right, if you fail, it's okay. The world is not ending. Get back up, try again, and then make adjustments. Realize, okay, I could have did this differently. Yes?
I like the same thing. He rides the bike, but he fell off 3 times and fractured 3 times.
Okay, he's still alive? Is he still alive?
Yeah.
All right, so he has an opportunity to try again. Yeah, tell me, dude. He's calling you out. Yeah, doing what?
He hit one on the ball. Yeah, we're playing tetherball.
Did you quit skating now?
Yeah.
Did you? Is it something you want to do, though?
I do a little bit.
Well, you got to wear some protective gear, though. Hey, at least your head's okay, right? All right, good. All right, are we good? Okay. So ask one thing. So what I want you to ask is, what's one thing you're excited to achieve? So maybe you do this when you go home, and I know how it is. I have kids also where, hey, what did you learn at school? Or, oh, we learned this. Oh, tell me about it. Okay. So the conversation has to be different than that. Ask the open-ended questions like what they're interested in doing. Okay. Take-home challenge. I want everyone to go home, parents and kids, and set a family goal, together. You guys talk about it, whatever you want. It's called negotiation. Don't be afraid to ask. They're probably going to say no on a lot of things, but if you don't ask, you're never going to know, right? Okay, next. All right, we're almost done. Hang tight, hang tight. So overcoming setbacks and staying motivated. So motivation is important, but you're not always going to be motivated to do things. It's going to come down to discipline. So the question, what if I fail, right? Every success story includes failure. So like I just mentioned, resilience, it's important to keep going. Now, what if I feel stuck? You want to break that goal into smaller pieces where you can achieve these things, one thing at a time, and you won't feel that way. What if I lose motivation? This is super important. You need to know why you're doing something. Now, if your why is only because, well, my parents want me to do it, eventually that's not going to be enough. You have to know why you want to do something. Why do you want to become a professional basketball player? Why do you want to win a math Olympics? Why do you want those things? You have to know that, because what I did is I just did, what my parents wanted me to do. And then I graduated college and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I did all that stuff my whole life and I graduated college and then I was like, okay, now what? My parents weren't telling me what they wanted anymore. Society and the world didn't tell me what I was expected anymore. It was, okay, get a job. But if I would have already went into college thinking why I was doing it, what I really wanted from my life, when I graduated, it would have just been one more step completed to get to what I really want. So yes, it's important to make your parents proud, but let your real motivation come from what you want. Why do you want to do something? Because at some point you're going to get older, and if you don't know why you're doing something, you're not going to be very happy. Okay, so just think about that. You got time, don't worry. Okay, so what if others don't believe in me? I'm sure that's a question a lot of us have. What if others don't believe in me? When I come here, I think, well, what if they don't listen to me? What if they don't believe what I'm saying? You know what that comes down to? I believe in myself. I believe that I'm going to come here and I'm going to teach you guys valuable things. So don't take it the wrong way, but ultimately I end up thinking it doesn't really matter if they believe me or not because I believe me. And that's super important. And think about this. If you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else believe in you? Does that make sense? Your parents are going to believe in you, but the outside world, the rest of the world, they don't owe you anything. So you have to believe in yourself, and then other people will see that, like, this person's confident. Well, they must be confident for a reason. They like themselves. So I should probably like them too. Okay? So that's important. Ultimately, you want to believe in yourself more than relying on anyone else's approval or anyone else believing you. That's great, but that's just in addition to you having self-confidence. All right, what do we got next? You want to do the discussion real quick? Well, how much time we have? 20?
What discussion?
What? You want me to do 2 more hours? Okay, so let's go back real quick. We'll do one more exercise real quick. Okay, so the discussion is what's one challenge that you faced and how did you push through? I'm going to call on 5 people. Yes.
So, one challenge that I faced is there is math competition. It's called Vedic math, and it was really hard.
Mm-hmm.
But how I pushed through it, I did really good, and then when the results came, I got 8th place in the United States, and I got 81st place in the world.
What? That's crazy. That's really impressive. Good job. Yes.
In the math Olympiad thing, I also got but I also got international rank 81.
Well, that's very good too. We got some smart kids here. Yes.
I went to the States and it was really hard. We had to do a lot together ever since last summer.
Mm-hmm.
And our team got second in race.
That's good. Yes.
For me, I moved here when I was in 5th grade, and I was not before I was in Fremont, so the people were completely different.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of an outcast when I first came, and I was kind of isolated. But then I realized somewhere in 5th grade, I a snapping point. I don't care what they think about me. I like myself more than they do. So then after I started believing in myself and regaining my confidence, I started making a lot more friends.
Awesome. That's what I was just saying, right? When you become confident in yourself and you like yourself for who you are based on what you do every day, other people are going to be attracted to that energy. Last one. What was that? Okay, yeah, that's awesome. All right, so you guys gave some good examples right there. We got some really smart, talented kids here. That's good. Super happy to hear that. All right, what do we got for the next one? So now, after everything I said, everything I talked about, I'm going to tell you what confidence comes down to. Setting goals is great, but everyone sets goals. Ultimately, confidence comes from taking action. Okay? Take action. You know what that means? You know Nike's slogan? Does anyone know what Nike's slogan is? Just do it. Okay? That's what that means. So take action. Don't worry. If it's not perfect, it's okay. You try again, and you try again, and you try again. All right? So that's super important. Now, parents, going forward, you want to ask your child about their goal. Discuss your goals. Make it common to talk about these things. Let's not keep them in the shadows or in a journal. Like let's talk about these things with each other, as a family, and encourage each other. So that's what I just mentioned. So now everyone is going to write down before we leave. It's super important that we take action. Okay? I'm a man of action. So what you guys are going to do is write down a commitment for a small goal you have to move you towards your big goal that you could do this week. Okay, so everyone's going to write that down right now. What's one thing, just one thing you could do right now this week to move you closer to your goal? And then I want you to do that. And then you do that again. And then you do it again until you can't do it anymore. And then you do another goal. All right, so write one thing down that you could do this week, and then I want you to stand by it and make sure you get it done. You guys could do that? All right. All right, last, I think there's like one more. Okay, here's a quote that I like very much. Everyone has dreams, right? Everyone has dreams. A lot of people's dreams don't come true, okay? Dreams don't work unless you do, okay? So that goes back to taking action. That it's not going to work out. Those things you want, those dreams you have right now, if you don't continuously pursue those things, it's not going to happen. All right, so that's why it's important. Write down your goals, have confidence in yourself, take action. Got it? All right, cool. Last slide. Okay, so parents, if you're interested in your kids learning more about, this stuff, this is one of many, many topics that, I work one-on-one with a lot of kids about. Really, it's focused on all the things that they don't usually teach in school. So if you, have, even older kids up to, 25 years old, really, like, if you have any kids or know of any families with kids that maybe they're struggling, or maybe they're a little behind, or maybe they just want to give their kid every advantage possible to succeed, and that's what I focus on. So if you're, interested in learning more, and, generally I do, workshops like this or seminars, or most of my work is one-to-one. And I have, I talk with kids all across the country, like I mentioned, from New York to Florida to Southern California, Ohio, Chicago, all over. So if anyone's interested, also if we want to do small group settings, that would be an option too. Maybe there's 3 or 4 kids that are friends and want to get together and do that. Like, we could work something out. So if anyone's interested in doing something like that or finds value in this, I have my business card. You guys could contact me. All you guys, I want to thank you because you were so well behaved and respectful, and that is super important. So let me get a round of applause for you guys, because I appreciate you guys doing great things here. Palu, great kids, great organization, and I appreciate the opportunity to come here and talk to you guys about these things. So Does anyone feel like they learned anything today of value? Just a little bit. Raise your hand if you feel like you learned something. It's okay to lie right now. All right. Okay, good. So my mission was to teach you guys even one thing that you take with you for the rest of your life. That's my goal. And I accomplished my goal, so I feel good about myself. All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you all. Appreciate you. Thank you.